about the world of light, the world of dark, and the world of dark trying to get into our world, which is not the world of light. And the world of dark trying to get through people by taking those who actually are attuned with souls and then possessing them and taking their real soul away so they can take over those souls' bodies.
I think my friend Betty online, I think she saw that because she talked, I know she wrote the word on her Facebook. So I said to myself, oh, well, then she must have seen it. But I've never watched. I'm not really a big horror movie fan like everybody else. You know, I like old school horror movies, and that's another reason why I couldn't say Poltergeist.
No, Poltergeist is in that definition of what we were talking about before as a remake. That's what they were trying to do. They were trying to remake Poltergeist, and it was horrible.
Right down to the little girl, because they even got a little girl who bared a very strong resemblance to the late Heather O'Rourke, but her hair was, of course, dark brown black. You know, trying to make it look make her look.
Robin, when they tried to do Superman Returns, they had this guy playing Superman who they tried to have look just like Christopher Reeve.
Like who? Which
the movie? Late Christopher Reeve.
Yeah, I know, but which movie?
Superman Returns.
Oh, that one. Oh, yeah. To me, Superman has always just been Christopher Reeve. Period.
Yeah, a lot of people agree on that, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Insidious 3, which was basically a prequel to the other two Insidious movies. And it was scary. I'll give it that. I don't jump scare easy. I don't. Like, shit happens in a horror movie. Shit, jumps out at you. Yeah. This movie got me maybe 3 or 4 times.
Well, see, I'm to the point where...
See, it's one of those movies where they try to lull you into a false sense of security. Where you feel like, okay, maybe she's going to do the smart thing. Okay, she's doing the smart thing. She's not going upstairs. She's going out the door. She's looking out the window. She's doing everything carefully. Okay. Nothing's there. Nothing's running up on her. One step behind her. She's going out the door. Okay, so we not have to worry about him. What the fuck is that?
Well, see, I'm not a horror movie type. First of all, I like old school horror movies better than the new horror movies.
That's because they don't scare as much now.
Yep. Second of all, it's gotten to the point where, and this is going to sound stupid, but it's true, but to me, certain creepypastas on the internet is more scarier than these horror movies that are out today.
Robin.
And I just can't get in horror movies.
Robin, watch Insidious 3. Go to watch Insidious 3, and I guarantee
I didn't even watch the first 2.
Well, okay, watch the first 2. Then watch the third one, and I guarantee you're just going to scare the shit out of you.
But that's the state of movies nowadays. That's the state of how we create things. It's cookie cutter. Back in the day, they created it to a certain standard. They may have had the technology and the CGI that we do now. But it was quality. There was plot. There was depth.
Storytelling.
Depth. Now, I'm not a big old movie buff fan, but I'm a big fan of old things that they make, like the way they manufacture things yesteryear. A fan was all metal, weighed like 100 pounds, and guess what? You could have the fan 20 feet away, and you would still feel the shit. You know what I mean? Shit like that. Nowadays, you have plastic pieces of crap.
That break easily.
So
you can have to buy another one.
Exactly.
I just don't find today's horror movies as scary or as creepy as they could be. I mean, and even old movies, Frankenstein and all them, I like it for the kitsch value. But there are a couple of old movies, horror movies, that was kind of creepy and scary. the two that I can think of off the top of my head was an old Vincent Price film called Dr. Phibes. That was
You
a
look at the
series.
psychological scary.
That was scary. And then there was this one movie. I can't remember what the fuck it was, called, but I know it was a movie about this woman who married this old guy. But the thing is, the old guy was dead, and he sat in a chair. And somehow, some way, and he just sat there with his eyes open. With a creepy smile on his face, and that was just creepy enough. But anyone who came in contact with him, except for the wife, and if you were especially an enemy of his, you bought the farm.
I remember
You're into the psychological horror aspects.
I guess.
Because those two that you pointed out were very much psychological.
Now, I remember when I was a kid, the horror movie that really scared me was The Blob. The original Blob. That got me. I was like, what the is that?
You know what's scary? You know what really...
Moving from room to room and just like...
I mean, it was...
You know what really scared me when I was young? Barney.
That creeped everyone out. A big purple fucking miniature dinosaur.
I loved Barney.
I love you.
Yep.
You
and
that scared the piss out of
I
me.
will kill your family.
I used to sing that all the time.
Barney kind of creeped me out. And then he came out with a game shortly after that for PC and Windows.
And a movie.
That you could just kill Barney. It was just like, it's like, the gallery type of shooter where Barney would pop up. I look crack. Crack.
I don't love you. No, I don't love you.
I love that game.
Yeah.
It was a stupid game.
But it was funny as hell.
But it was funny as hell.
Like I said, I don't know why, but sometimes a couple of the creepypastas on the internet I find scarier than some of these horror movies. And I don't even know why that is.
That's because you're into the psychological horror. Things that fuck with your head.
Mind fucks.
The movies that are like physically scary aren't your cup of tea. I mean, let's put it to you this way: movies like that, they're good, but they're not very well for me. Like they can be psychological, but it's not It doesn't give me that same feeling unless it's something that's memorable. I mean,
unless they could totally fuck you over.
Unless they can make the movie that's very like memorable. And also very, they made the movie memorable, and also they made it psychological and physically scary. Very few horror movies have done that.
Sure.
I mean, like, that's why I like the Nightmare on Elm Street series.
Freddy
was psychological. I mean, believe it or not, Freddy was like, he would get in your head, literally.
Literally in your dream.
Yeah. Literally and metaphorically.
But you had the power to combat that shit. But he scared you so much
that you wouldn't be able to concentrate.
Right.
That was it.
That's psychological.
He fed off
and physical because what happened to you in the dream world affects you physically.
Well, I gotta admit, I think I did look at all of the Freddy movies back in the day, the Nightmare on Elm Street. I think I did watch all of them. And I did look at the prequel, the one that showed how Freddy came to be.
Oh, yeah.
I actually like that. I was actually surprised that the kid who was in the Bad News Bears, the teenager in the Bad News Bears, was the same guy who turned out to be Freddy Krueger. A part of me was like, oh, really? And another part of me was like, hey, that's kind of cool.
Okay.
Because back in the day, I used to think the kid who was the baseball player, I forgot what his name was, the kid who was the baseball player in the Bad News Bears, he was cute. In a bad boy kind of way.
You like the bad boys, eh, Robin?
I like bad boys.
She likes the bad boys.
Shut up!
Yay!
Fuck you!
Which one do you want to come for, you bad
was with the clowny boys.
Fatality.
Oh, my God.
mean, look. There's a shit ton of women out there that love the bad boys. Mainly, it's a psychological thing with most women, because they feel they can change the guy from being a bad boy to the type of guy that they would adore in the first place.
Yeah, I was the one that went after the bad girls.
Like Laquita.
I wanted the big titted girls. You mean the big titty girls?
Yes, we know. I've seen some of your big titted girls.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen some of your girls. You've had big titted girls, big ass girls. Oh, and there was that one girl that you came to the club who looked like a really, really drunk, hungover, messed up Courtney Love.
Wait. No, we never dated. I never banged her.
Are you sure that wasn't Courtney Love?
Her name was Sarge.
Courtney Love?
Hey! I can see it.
You with the real Courtney Love?
Yo, babe.
Sounds
legit.
legit. Sounds legit.
I'm just saying.
Look, if I ever dated Courtney Love, there would be a problem.
Why?
Because you see, if I dated
the real Courtney Love.
Oh
God. If you impregnated the real Courtney Love.
Lord.
Oh fuck.
Look,
Lawrence Cobain.
I'm just gonna say.
And it would be named, little fuck.
I'm just gonna do a Hubert J. Farnsworth. I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
No. Actually, I think that would make the planet a little more interesting.
But if you date, hey, I always wanted to date the real Kurt Cobain, but I can't now. But you might have a chance to date the real Courtney Love someday.
That'd be a big thing in the tabloids.
Oh fuck.
Have fun.
Local Philadelphian idiot. Dates Courtney Love.
Wait.
Leave my girl alone. I love Hole. Hey, I still love Hole.
I mean,
leave my girl alone.
I have a hate love for Courtney Love. There's things about Courtney Love that rocks. There's something about her that is all that. But there is also something about her that can just get on my nerves. And there was that one time when she played the Electric Factory, and she was talking about her new female drummer, and she was talking about how her new female drummer is ostracized for being a drummer and being female and being good. And she compared her to the N-word. She actually used the N-word on stage. And the worst part about it was that show was taped on HBO's Reverb, but that part was edited out.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Look, that girl's so bad. She's like a nigga.
Yeah, and I went to one of the security guards, one of the African American female security guards, and I went up to her and I asked her, I said, excuse me, did she just say what I thought she said? She said, yeah, girl, she said it. I'm like, really? I heard right. She said, yeah, you heard right.
If she was dating me, it would only be for publicity and to show that she wasn't racist.
Probably. And
that would be the one thing that everybody would be the talk of the town. Yeah. Lawrence is dating Courtney Love. Oh, that's just a publicity stunt. But she's just using that shit to show that she ain't racist because of that racist thing she said.
We're not trying to diss Courtney Love. We're just sharing our experiences. Right. Although there was this one time, I hate to go there. I'm gonna say him. You know who? After you know who passed away, she was talking about what it's like to have a celebrity will and all the trouble that you have to go through with a celebrity will. And she spoke of how now we have to go deal with the celebrity will of an albino Negro. She went there.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
So Lawrence, in other words, you as a black man have to dick her down and put her in her right senses.
But she did have she did have a black man. She did have a picture taken of her of a black man sucking on her titty. She did have that, and it was at the Wendy's.
Yeah, I did see that. I did see that on the interwebs. Images.google.com. But
I need that back because it has all my phone information on it.
So yeah, all we gotta do. All we gotta do here, right? Check this out. We got. Now, it sounds like a challenge.